Hi guys. So, what age is too old to follow your dreams? Um, a former course participant, Angelica, has asked me. She's currently 50 years old and she's really inspired by the Isha Hatha Yoga. She has done Surya Kriya, and she's wondering if she can still do the Isha Hatha Yoga teacher training because it's a dream of her. Um, to develop herself into that direction. She's currently a high school teacher, and she's getting a little bit well, she's just looking for a new way to develop herself. She's having this spiritual seeking, and she's wondering if it's too old because by the time she would start the journey, she would already be 54. And um, I generally think, I mean, now you might think, okay, it's easy for you to say you were only 33 years old. Um, but I think ultimately, at any age, we could think like this. Because even at my age, after you have reached a certain point, maybe in your career, you're wondering if it's too late to make a change because you have already established yourself. You have reached some security, some safety, and now it's a big risk to take a new step like this. So I think ultimately the age is not really that relevant to the question. It's really, what do you think is your potential, and you want to move towards that. So I think first of all, I give two parts to this answer. The first one is just in terms of pragmatic, okay, the obvious. So at 54, is it actually possible to do the training, to complete it and become a teacher? I think the answer is yes. I literally have seen teachers or trainees who have been above 50 years of age and who have done the training and who have been tremendously inspiring to be with, because I personally hope and wish for my life that I am able to maintain this thirst for growth until the very last day of my life. And to see people who live like that is tremendously inspiring, I think. And I've seen people who have completed the training and who have continued to actually teach afterward. So I think it's definitely possible, but obviously it depends on, the individual factors. What's your physical condition and so forth. For Angelica, I would definitely recommend to do some of the other programs. It's also a requirement before you actually start teacher training. So apart from Surya Kriya, you should learn the other programs like Angamardana, Yogasanas, and Buddha Shuddhi. And also inner engineering would be good, because only then you can really get a full idea of what you're going to be teaching potentially if you do the training, and it's a good preparation to do these programs beforehand. That's like a very basic requirement. And then you can also see how to manage it physically. Are you able to do these practices in some way that you can see yourself, developing that potential to go further into the practices and at one point be able to teach them. That's just a practical advice. And then other than that, in a more kind of larger picture, I think that at any age, we should not give up this thirst to develop ourselves and to step out of our boundaries, and ultimately to fully realize our potential in every way possible. So if somebody like Angelica has that thirst and that longing to maybe go into that direction of being a Hatha Yoga teacher, or just go deeper into yoga, or maybe another dream in your life, then I think this is a sign that something in you, there is a potential, there's a seed that could be developed in that direction. And not to follow it if it's really strong, I think it's really a shame, and it's kind of a waste of life. And I think even if, let's say, you know, you go into that direction and then it doesn't work out the way you anticipated, maybe you never become actually like a full-time yoga teacher, you maybe only teach a little bit, but just to move a few steps closer into direction is still making it worth the journey, because you're growing in the process, and that ultimately is the only really important thing, I think. um, so Um, I think we should always hold on to our dreams if they're really like, you know, very um, sincere, strong desires in us. Obviously, you need to gauge, like, you might not necessarily want to follow every little bit of, you know, um, desire that you have. If you see that it's something which is only on the superficial level, on the surface, but if it's something that you feel is really a longing that you want to develop, I would always encourage anyone to try to do this. And I, for myself, just try to live after this as much as I can. And what helps me always is, you know, just to look forward in life and try to anticipate the end of my life. How am I going to look back on my life on that day when I see my life end is coming closer? And what would I wish that I would have done? Which path and dreams would I have liked to follow? And if you then anticipate yourself in that situation and you look back and you think that this is something that you feel you should have done, then this is a sign that you should do it now. Because now is the time where you can actually do it. And then later you will never have to regret it. So the short answer is yes, I think it's possible, but there's no guarantee that obviously it will work out. It depends on many factors for different people, to what extent you can actually fulfill that dream. But even if it's not, you know, coming to the ultimate result that you wanted, I think it's still worthwhile. And that is so for anything in life, because it will help you in your growth. So I would, anyone who wants to do Isha Hatha yoga training in general, encourage that. Try to look at it from this perspective. See if it's like a really sincere interest for your own growth, but also for the other people's growth. Just for your own development, the teacher training is not the best option in my view. But if you want both your own growth and other people's growth, and you want to pass it on, then it's a good training. That's about it. And if you have more questions about this, I will address a few more questions also in terms of economically, how you can make a living from it, if it's even possible in my eyes. I'm not even teaching full-time at the moment, but I can share my insight on this. And if you have other questions about Isha Yoga Hatha teacher training, just leave a comment below. Or if you have any other questions about Isha Hatha yoga, leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It would mean a lot to me. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Then you will get notified about my future videos. I'm uploading a new video every week. Alright guys, this is it. I hope this was interesting to you, and I see you next week. Bye.